Hi, and happy Saturday. My name is Swamp Rose. Welcome to this edition to my podcast. And in this true crime podcast, I cover the Idaho4 case, otherwise known as the case against Brian Cober. And today's theme to this video is things that everybody is talking about right now. And I'm trying to stick with current themes. Now, I'm going to do my best to keep this video short and sweet as possible, but there are just a ton of things that we need to discuss, or I feel that you would like to discuss about this case. It's front and center on my viewers' minds, and what they keep commenting about is how did they get to Brian Koberger? The first thing I'm going to bring up is something I made in my most recent post. I'll just show you. It looks like this, and I'll display it on the screen here. So the first thing I really want to discuss is a post that received a lot of attention on my channel that I posted last night. And it was regarding an article sent to me by my managing mod, Christy Nevada. And the article is from Idaho News 6, and it's titled, "Attorneys for Brian Koberger Alleged Evidence Mishandling Call for Prosecutors to be Sanctioned." Now, we've been discussing the sanctions for a while now, so I don't think that that's necessarily the newsworthy part, although everybody is talking about that. What's interesting is the quote from Brian Koberger's attorney. So I'm going to read you this whole article because it's super brief, and then we'll talk about what I think, and then we'll talk about the quote from Jay Logston that's receiving so much attention. So this article goes on to read, Ada County, Idaho. A series of legal briefs were filed before the new year on behalf of the University of Idaho murder suspect Brian Koberger. A dozen more of these filings by the defense allege that investigators mishandled key pieces of evidence in the collection process and were overly aggressive in their search protocols. As such, the defense argues that the evidence in question should be considered inadmissible by the state. The lawyer for Brian Koberger's attorney, Jay Logston, said in a filing that investigators had to destroy the house to save the car or some other evidence from Mr. Koberger's rubber gloves. Did you get that? Authorities previously stated that DNA evidence collected from Brian Koberger's family residence matches DNA found at the scene of the crime. So the next hearing is scheduled for January 23rd and will address various issues related to the prosecution's discovery process. The defense contends that the way the DNA evidence was collected in a process known as investigative genetic genealogy is unreliable and controversial. Other filings list a variety of complaints related to how the investigators obtained evidence from the online accounts. Can you hear that like rolling thunder type noise? That's my dog Rocco snoring, so sorry about that. I'm not going to wake him up though. You're just going to have to listen to it. It's worse if I wake him up because he's going to want to play. Other filings list a variety of complaints related to how the investigators obtained evidence from online accounts, including the suspect's Apple iCloud, Google, Amazon accounts, and the defense also contends that the prosecutors failed to disclose appropriate information about the experts to be called in the case and asked the court to sanction the prosecution as a result. The prosecution alleged that on November 13, 2022, Koberger broke into a home in Moscow, Idaho, and stabbed 4 University of Idaho students to death. The victims include Ethan Chapen, 20, Madison Mogan, 21, Xana Cronodle, 20, Kaylee Gonzalez, 21. After a 6-week hunt for the perpetrator, authorities identified Koberger as a possible suspect, arresting him on December 30th, 2022 at his family's home in Pennsylvania. Koberger was later indicted on charges with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary. Upon arraignment, Koberger declined to offer a plea and was entered into the not guilty plea by the judge. The trial is scheduled to begin this upcoming August. Okay, so let's just go back to that quote. A lawyer for Koberger, attorney Jay Logston, said in a filing that investigators had to destroy the house to save the car or some other evidence from Mr. Koberger's rubber gloves. There's a couple things to that quote. So obviously what I think is this is a backhanded comment towards the prosecution. So the comments about the rubber gloves. And I just bring up a couple things. He was wearing rubber gloves. He was also sorting through trash. So it does make sense to wear rubber gloves when you're sorting through trash. And that's the point that Jay Logston is trying to make. The other thing is to save the car. Why is the Elantra getting searched when the house got raided? I mean, Brian Cober appears to have been a suspect long before the house was raided. So it just feels like there's so much they could have done before they got this warrant. I kind of want to use this segment to transition to white Elantra. So Jay Logston brings up the white Elantra. Do you find it a little bit ridiculous, like me, that Brian Koberger wasn't called in for questioning when he became a suspect, asked for a sample of his DNA, asked if they could take a look at the car? I do. I mean, I think that might, if he's being facetious in the statement, he's bringing up a problem, which is the white Elantra. While we're talking about the white Elantra, how come we've never seen a still shot of the suspect vehicle one released to the public before? I mean, we've seen stock images that don't even remotely match Brian Koberger's car. When we first initially heard about the car, the year changed from 2013 to a range that went up to 2016 in the PCA. In Chief Fry's reelection campaign, they actually brought it up as an issue as well. The community didn't like that the Elantra was changed years and there was no explanation for it. So I think in Jay Logston's sarcastic statement, that's why he's bringing up the Elantra. The more I talk this out, the more I just want to understand how MPD got to Brian Koberger and how the FBI got to Brian Koberger. And I'm going to go back to another quote by Jay Logston that I have saved in my phone. Hold on. Another quote from Jay Logston. I see you. So Jay Logston made this statement regarding how the state came to Brian Koberger as their suspect. He went on to say, rather than seeing it as some sort of complex IgG tree building that led to him, it appears far more likely a lineup where the government was already aware of who they wanted to target. That quote was made by Jay Logston in June of 2023. So I didn't want to make this, I didn't want to make this video too long. So I don't want to go into too many other points, but I do want to bring up a couple more points that everybody is talking about. Is the last element to this video I wanted to leave you with, which make the whole crime scene analysis very confusing. And again, reasons why I think this house should have never been torn down. And these are just the things that people are talking about. All right, so first I'm going to read you two separate posts. This one is from a Jen G, and she goes on to say, my company did the cleanup for it. I didn't see it personally, but my guys were there. I did read the estimate though. Here's what I can tell you. Ethan and Xana fought for their fucking lives. That was the largest biohazard job I've ever gotten. My estimator had to go in and do it by hand, room by room. We were not allowed to use our technology. No pictures, no sketch. He said he didn't sleep for 3 days. The guys all signed NDAs, and they were complete pros. P.S. Fuck the media. Vultures. They harassed me and my guys for months. It was awful. There were a couple posts after that. Someone wrote, who paid for the cleanup? And she says, U of I, the owner of the house, donated the house to the university. So the owner of the home is always responsible for this. I always was bothered by the university wanting to tear the house down. To me, again, sorry about my dog snoring. Again, the parents in a couple months, we're going to be seeing if they bring up a lawsuit against the university or the town. And it just appears to me this is the largest piece of evidence, not only in this unaliving case, but also in this potential civil lawsuit. And I mean, I don't know what it all means. I'm just bringing it up to you that it is the largest piece of evidence in multiple cases. And then lastly, just the last thing I'd like to bring up that everybody is talking about is, here's another post I posted about a week ago. I want to read to you as well. This comes from the Chapen. So that last post that I showed you came from Mishgirl 29. And then this next post I want to show you comes from Warning Label Nina. It says, I'm quoting from another poster said here about what Stacey Chapin had said on November 17th in an interview. Apparently, she got this information from one of the young guys who was called to the house before Ellie arrived. She said, BF said she heard loud male voices, Ethan's being one. There was a lot of yelling with the guys. Murphy was heard barking. Sounds like furniture getting knocked around, and a loud thud. And after the thud, it appeared to be silent. BF thought it was a drunk frat guys arguing and just roughhousing, but she did say she was scared. That interview that has been edited and removed, that particular segment, no mention of anything like this in the PCA. And then what's interesting about the post, I'll just show you, it comes with receipts in part of this. So the actual quote was made in Facebook. And then you can see that the interview was also listed on Plunder. So all we can do is speculate. None of us knows exactly what's going on, and none of us are likely going to know any more information until the 23rd. What do you think in the comments section below? And if you've made it this far into my video, I'm just so grateful you listened to what I had to say. If you enjoyed this content, I love for you to subscribe. I try to put out Idaho4 content daily, but I do offer a lot of other types of videos, including I am a longtime ASMR artist here on YouTube. I have lots of those videos. I review Chanel makeup. Oh, actually, I got a present from Chanel this morning. Let me show it to you. Hold on. So my husband was leaving and he goes, oh, you've got a package. And I know he was like, oh no, she ordered more makeup, but I didn't. And it was this package from Chanel. So, I'll read it to you. It says, compliment of the house. Thank you for being a loyal Chanel client. Please enjoy this gesture of our appreciation. Okay, so let me show you what they sent me. And when I opened it, I've already unwrapped it, but what it is a keychain. So let me take that off. Okay. So I'm not going to take the plastic off yet, but it's got we've got the Chanel snowflake, and then it's got the little Chanel No. 5 bottle, and then the little Coco Chanel symbol. Here, I'll take them off so you can see it. Well, I'm not going to take off, but so I just wanted to say thank you, Chanel, for the free gift, but I'm hooked. And you did. Thank you to Chanel for thinking of their customers and sending out another free gift. Chanel is extremely, extremely generous with their free gifts and free samples. If you've never ordered from them, I don't know if you've ever ordered from Chanel. They're so generous with their free gifts. Every time I order from them, I get perfume samples or mascara samples, and these are like full-size samples. I love Chanel. Chanel is the finest makeup on earth with the best colors and the finest ingredients and the least amount of chemicals, and customer for life. I'm a Chanel girl for life. You don't have to send me a free sample to make me a Chanel girl for life. So anyway, that's going to be it for today. I hope you have a great weekend. Happy Saturday and peace. Thank you for watching.